for sponsoring this video. You're a meat-eating, bull-headed, tiny-armed speed demon whose powerful legs would make any track star jealous, and whose horns look like they were designed by a mad scientist who really loved sumo wrestling. And in this video, we're diving deep into your life as a Carnotaurus. You roamed a continent that had freshly split from Africa and India, evolving in total isolation like a late Cretaceous version of Australia or Madagascar. The animals there went their own weird ways, and you became one of the strangest top predators the Southern Hemisphere ever produced. Argentina beautifully preserved, skin impressions and all. But missing early life doesn't make you any less fascinating. The real mind-bender is figuring out exactly why you look the way you do. Google it, and you'll get a dozen conflicting theories. Some say you were a sauropod slayer. Others claim you chased down fast, smaller prey like a Cretaceous cheetah. You're a Carnotaurus, the star member of the abelisaurids, the dominant carnivorous theropods across Gondwana. Your family took a completely different evolutionary detour. Your lineage branched off from other theropods ridiculously early. So, you're a theropod, sure, but you're about as far from modern birds as a dinosaur can get. That's why you didn't have feathers. Your skin was covered in small, non-overlapping scales, interrupted by larger feature scales that gave you a bumpy, tough hide, perfect for the rough life of a predator in ancient Patagonia. But under that scaly exterior, evolution was laser-focused on one very obvious trend: shrinking your arms. Generation after generation, abelisaurids reduced those forelimbs until you ended up with the smallest arms-to-body ratio of any large theropod. Your shoulders gave them almost zero range of motion. You were basically stuck in a permanent Naruto run pose, or at best, a pathetic little wiggle. And for some reason, you still had 4 fingers, when almost every other advanced theropod had trimmed down to 3. Were those tiny limbs completely useless? Or did they serve some awkward social purpose, like signaling to mates? Scientists are still debating. Today's sponsor, which might honestly be the saddest part of your whole anatomy. War Thunder. I've sunk countless hours into your massive fleet of over 2,500 vehicles, tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, all modeled with insane detail down to internal components and realistic damage models. Whether you're after hyper-realistic sim battles, where you have to angle your armor just right, or pure chaotic PvP dogfights across land, sea, and air, War Thunder delivers. With X-ray kill cams, accurate ballistics, and a community of over 70 million players, there's something for every style. And the best part, it's completely free to play on PC, consoles, and even mobile. Premium vehicles, 100,000 silver lions, 7 days of premium time, and that exclusive Eagle Valor decorator. And that's wild, because you were one of the biggest abelisaurids out there, pushing 25 to 29 feet long and weighing up to around 2 tons. So, if the arms weren't the secret to your success, what was? Let's look at your legs. These things were long, slender, and disproportionately powerful. Your hind limbs were built for explosive acceleration and straight-line speed. Estimates put you at up to 30 to 35 miles per hour in short bursts, one of the fastest large theropods ever. At first glance, your tail looks pretty normal for a dinosaur, but look closer and you'll see the genius. Like all non-avian theropods, you had a massive cauda-femoralis muscle, the main muscle that pulls the leg backward with each stride, like a giant biological spring. Your hip bones flared into a stretched V-shape, giving that muscle extra room to bulk up. Plus, your tail vertebrae had special overlapping structures and upward projecting flanges that locked everything into a stiff, beam-like rod. That rigidity transferred every ounce of power directly into your legs for maximum thrust. The downside: your tail was so rigid you couldn't swing it side to side for balance during sharp turns. That tells us a lot about your habitat. You weren't dodging through dense forests. You thrived in open, flat plains or sparse woodlands where you could unleash those blistering straight-line sprints without needing fancy footwork. Now for the head, that's where things get really bizarre. Your skull wasn't long and knife-like like a raptor's, nor was it a massive bone-crushing tank like a tyrannosaur's. Instead, it was short, deep, and tall, almost like a bulldog's. It was packed with forward-facing eyes for decent binocular vision to judge distances while chasing, and a strong sense of smell to track prey from afar. But the headline feature: no other Mediterranean dinosaur had anything quite like them. What were they for? Display to attract mates, or intimidate rivals? Head-shoving contests where two Carnotaurus would push and slam like Cretaceous sumo wrestlers, using their reinforced skulls and powerful legs, or, as one hilarious theory goes, built-in back-scratchers for those unreachable spots, thanks to the tiny arms. We'll probably never know for sure, but they definitely made you look like something that crawled out of a nightmare. Except for the lower jaw, which had a joint in the middle that let it bow outward slightly for a wider gape. Your bite force wasn't the strongest for your size estimates. Put it decent, but not T-Rex level. But your neck was incredibly muscular. That combination suggests you weren't relying on a death grip bite, or even swinging your head like a hatchet to rip into prey with momentum and those sharp teeth. Your flexible lower jaw might have helped you swallow decent-sized chunks or even smaller animals whole. You probably weren't tackling full-grown titanosaurs. You'd get absolutely wrecked. But their calves, or smaller ornithopods, and other fast herbivores, watching you close a 100-foot gap in seconds would have been pure nightmare fuel for anything on the menu. But speed wasn't just for hunting, it was for survival, too. Most of the time you were probably the biggest predator around. If Mape showed up, your best bet was to use those legs to run fast. And that's probably why we only have one good skeleton of you. You went so fast you broke the fourth wall and vanished into legend. Well, thank you so much for watching. Drop your favorite Carnotaurus theory or your wildest War Thunder story below. And huge thanks again to War Thunder for sponsoring and making educational dino content like this possible. Whether you're grinding realistic battles or just blowing stuff up for fun, see you in the next one.